Welcome back to a new season of Camogie Talk. My name's Geary and this show is all about reviewing and previewing the Liberty Insurance All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship. I'm joined by multiple All-Ireland medalist Ursula of Wexford and sports journalist Daragh Conchúir. And today we're going to kick off with the first of the quarterfinals between Dublin and Wexford in Thurles at 5 p.m. this Saturday. So let's dive straight in, guys. You know, what has surprised you most about each of the teams' journey to get to this quarterfinal stage? Daragh, I'll start with you.
Well, I guess the big game from Dublin's point of view was probably that first round game against Clare, and you wouldn't have said it was a big surprise, but Clare might have been a little bit more fancied, and it certainly probably set the tone for who was going to get that third position. So that was probably, you know, that was the key game, and it set Dublin up right to the end and ensured that they could even get away with probably, on the face of it, maybe a disappointing effort against Kilkenny, but of course Kilkenny are the best team at the moment. But that win meant they could follow up with what was actually a tight. They only beat Waterford by 2 points, but that set them up for it. That first game was the key game for Dublin.
Yeah, and what, like, also even just looking at Wexford, I suppose, like, what really has surprised you about their journey so far?
Well, I suppose, look, it's, you know, they had a great win against Offaly in the first round, and then, you know, they travelled to Cork and had, you know, an extremely disappointing and heavy defeat to Cork. So I suppose the resilience that Wexford showed in the 2 games after that, you know, they had a great win against Tipperary and then finished on a high, then beaten Limerick down in Limerick, which was possibly going to be a banana skin for them. But, you know, I really think they showed great character in coming back from such a heavy defeat to Cork. And, you know, they really stood up and, you know, made themselves counted and got themselves back on track and are in a good position ahead of the quarter-final now.
I suppose, like, looking at last year's All-Ireland semi-final, it took a replay, you know, or extra time between Cork and Wexford. You know, do you think that they'll have learned a lot now from that game and that might stand to them against Dublin?
That's it. I think the experience they're going to have gained from that, and sometimes, you know yourself, when you lose a game, you learn maybe a lot more from that. And I think that's what they kind of took from the Cork defeat this year. They maybe went away from that game very disappointed, obviously, but they had to quickly turn things around. And I think they kind of worked on things. They changed some, you know, positions on the team. Like Mary Lacey was back centre back, which is obviously her most natural position. And then they changed things up in the forward line. You know, Shelley Keogh now is playing centre forward. You know, she'd be more known to be a natural midfielder, but, you know, she's getting some great long distance points from there. And I think, you know, that experience going into the game on Saturday, you know, will stand to him.
I suppose, you know, Dublin as well, having David Herity in charge, you know, I mean, a guy that has numerous years of experience playing down in Croke Park with Kilkenny hurlers. Do you think he'll be able to bring kind of an added bite to the Dublin side?
Without question, you know, I think Shane O'Brien should get a lot of credit because he certainly improved the standards and professionalism, and in terms of his backroom staff and everything. And obviously we all know the amount of work that's been done in Dublin with underage and that. But he brought David in last year, so when Shane stepped back, David it's a natural fit, and he knew the girls. Obviously he knows high performance, he knows what's required, and he knows, you know, about nerves and all that stuff that comes into building up to what is the big game, you know, because a lot of those teams, this would have been targets for them, and it was the same as it was for Offaly, Limerick and Clare. This now is sort of bonus territory, but you really want to put in a performance, and it is a game, it is an opportunity, you know. I mean, there would be a perception that Wexford obviously aren't as strong as they were. They lost 3 more of, you know, their All-Ireland winning legends, Katrina Parrock, Mags Darcy and Kate Kelly, obviously, after 20 years. So when you put that in with the other 8 or 9 that are gone from, you know, in the last 3 or 4 years, like Ursula there, that's a big loss. But they have brought through young players like Chloe Fox, Joanne Dillon and a few others, and that has been impressive. But Dublin will view this as an opportunity.
And I mean, just looking at key players, to say, just moving on, is there any key players or crucial battles, more importantly, that you would have identified that are going to be really the winning and losing of this game? Or Steph, you want to start with yourself?
Yeah, well, I suppose from a Dublin perspective, you know, Aisling Maher has had a great season so far. You know, she's joint top scorer. I know, you know, some of them are from frees, but also she's creating a lot of chances for the other forwards. And I think the full forward line for Dublin, you know, you've Zoe O'Donoghue, Emma Flanagan and Aisling Maher, and they can be lethal. And in the league this year, you know, Dublin beat Wexford by 5 points, and, you know, it was really from the forward line that they got that win. And I suppose in the back line then for Dublin, you've Eve O'Brien and Ali Toomey, down the spine of the defence. And Wexford are really going to have to be mindful of this. So like I expect Shelley Keogh and Ali Toomey having a ding-dong battle. And I suppose Una Lacey will be considered one of the biggest threats in the forward line for Wexford. And it's going to be interesting to see who Dublin kind of pick up on her. Arlene Cushion, the corner back for Dublin, she's had a great season so far, so I'd expect maybe she might pick up Una on Saturday.
Yeah, I suppose what stands out for me is Wexford. I'm sure they'll talk about not conceding frees, because as well as Aisling Maher, their young goalkeeper Faye McCarthy, anywhere from the middle of the field is over the bar. She's 115 scored as a goalkeeper. And even going back into her half back line, she will be landing him right deep in the square. So you've got to be really, really careful from that point of view. The other that's interesting to me is Una Lacey's sort of role in that. Like, she's been known as a goal sneak since, for a decade now. Yeah, exactly. But the amount of points, she's 117 got this year, and she's getting the ball further out, but she's able to finish from distance, and it isn't that she never could, but we weren't seeing that aspect of her because she was so hungry for the major. But and I'd also feel she's probably getting fitter and fitter as every week goes on, and she's going to get better. So that's what's interesting to me, because it's a different dynamic, and I suppose it's about creating a bit more space for the other forwards.
And I suppose the fact that Una now is kind of being more positioned corner forward, it's kind of bringing in the likes of Joanne Dillon and Chloe Fox, who are kind of new to the Wexford setup. And in fairness, we've lost some great players in the last couple of years, Wexford have, and I suppose they've kind of added that extra little bit of bite. They've no fear, they're playing with no fear, and that's sometimes even more valuable than having all the experience in the world. They'll go out to Thurles on Saturday, and they'll really attack it. Like Chloe is a goal poacher, even though she'll probably be lining out on the half forward line. Joanne Dillon, her first year in on the team, and she's able to strike off left and right, so Dublin are going to have to be mindful of that.
Okay, so now it's the favourite part of the show for everybody at home. Anybody, it puts you in the hot seat, literally. Prediction time.
I guess I've probably given my ideas already. I just think that Wexford have been quite impressive, given again the loss of those players, the incorporation. I know Chloe Fox was there last year and progressing into the team, but those young players, and it has worked well. They had one horrendous performance when they got an 18-point drubbing from Cork, and as good as Cork are, I have to think Wexford didn't operate at all that day, but they came back from that to do what needed to be done. And Dublin, in fairness, as I say, the big win, but that big win against Clare was early on, and I'm not sure that they just have the firepower, particularly from play, to beat Wexford.
Okay, so 1 to Wexford. Do I really even have to ask you? I suppose I better just.
No, I feel Wexford will just have enough for the game on Saturday. No doubt, I think it's going to be close, and Dublin are not going to fear playing Wexford either. 2 years ago in the All-Ireland quarter final, Wexford only won by 3 points, so Dublin will have that in the back of their minds too. So Dublin will go out, as Daragh said, bonus territory. They're there in an All-Ireland quarter final. They're not just going to make up numbers. They're going to attack Wexford. But I just believe the overall experience of Wexford and the familiarity of being in an All-Ireland quarter-final is going to stand to Wexford.
So there you have our predictions from the experts. Don't forget to get down to Thurles this Saturday. The first game at 5 p.m. between Dublin and Wexford, and the second game at 7 p.m. between Tip and Galway. It promises to be a fantastic day for Camogie, and all under 18s go free. Thanks for watching.